Ben's drunk and it's not even 10 a.m.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Target Audience Podcast, your favorite podcast that talks about movies on a somewhat regular basis. This is Ben. I'm joined with my two co-hosts, Pierce
I'm Pierce,
and TJ.
I'm TJ.
and
We're going to talk about Ryan Gosling this week.
I think it's a bold thing to say that we're your favorite podcast, but if we're not your favorite podcast, just turn it off, man.
I think we're people's favorite podcast if we're literally the only podcast they listen to.
Yeah.
It's true.
We're the
It's
default option.
Default.
We're more like when people listen to it, like, hey, I know that guy. He talks about movies a lot.
Yeah, all four people.
So lately my allergies have been real bad and I have kind of a cough. So there's probably going to be moments where I'm going to have to turn away from the mic. And it's probably best to just stop talking so you can cut the coughing out.
Yes, we could probably
Hey,
do
try
that.
to give us like a hand gesture. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start
I'll-
running.
Here, I'll do this.
That way we
This will
can-
be my hand
Yeah, do
gesture.
you
That
need
way
like
we
some allergy medicine or something?
No, I actually took some allergy
Oh,
medicine.
okay.
It's just I went to the doctor. It's I got antibiotics and all that. But
Okay,
still,
so they're
medicine
clearing
doesn't
you
work
out.
that good.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So if you hear any coughing, it's because Pierce is a little sick.
Not because he's smoking illegal drugs
Or cigarettes.
Or cigarettes.
or cigarettes.
A legal drug.
Illegal cigarettes.
Illegal. 100%.
Do you know how many people Big Tobacco is responsible?
All right,
All
we're
right,
talking
log on
audience
to
podcast.
Truth.
Here to tell you
So
about
now that
Truth.
we've lost everybody. All right, so we have a couple quick announcements before we really jump into things this episode. We talked it over, and we want to be able to more consistently put out content, and we feel that 2 hours is, which we often hit for length of videos.
It's just too
It's a
much
little
for
long.
you guys.
It also less focused, so we kind of
Yeah.
jump all over the place.
Yeah, we
we
get
owe it
lost.
to you. We owe it to you to give you a better structure.
Yeah. So this is going to be our last episode kind of doing what we normally do, and we're moving on to episodes a lot more frequently, but they're also going to be like closer to like 30 minutes in length. We're going to talk about one movie, and we're going to kind of just keep it all together. And then if we have like a non sequitur that's kind of, related to it, it would belong to that. And it's, tied to that. So like if we talk about Spider-Man and we end up talking about the state of movies for superheroes, it doesn't like become this like an extra 20-minute conversation when you're like, man, I really wanted to know what was going on with fucking the South Park movie or whatever we were talking about
Yeah,
for some reason.
I don't exactly.
more
And
genuine.
it gets lost in it's not
It's more genuine and there's a lot less like filler stuff.
yeah.
It's not like we try to throw in filler, but sometimes it just comes out like that
We
depending
get-
on what we talk about.
So-
Sometimes we talk about things that are worth keeping in the episode, but it also detracts from what we're focusing on that
Yeah,
episode.
that way. So
Like
if we're
this,
just
like
talking
us trying
about
to
one
justify
movie
a
an
change.
episode,
Yeah.
yeah, it's more focused.
Right.
Probably have a lot more
Yeah.
things to say about the movie when we're not trying to move along and anything
And
like
if a movie
that.
sucks, we can just skip it and you'll never know.
Now there's
And
also
you'll never know.
Now there's also going to be times down the road there will be specials that we're going
Yeah.
to put out and different types of things
That are
will
longer
be
form.
longer form.
Like if how like we did the Halloween episode last year,
Mhm.
where we watched the entire franchise and we did a more in-depth look at it. We might do something similar to that, or some variation of
That
it,
or a TV series
or a TV series, something
something
like that, where we get that
Maybe
longer
even-
format.
Maybe even a video game one of these days. Who
I'd be down
knows?
for that.
Yeah. Well, that is just absurd.
Let's talk about the Spider-Man video game. We'll just become a Spider-Man channel. Start doing the comic books.
Welcome to Target Audience Spider-Man.
Yep. We'll do Spider-Man week. We'll watch all the Sam Raimi ones and forget the others.
I was just watching. I just watched the first one because Molly has never seen the first Spider-Man,
Really?
and she's like, "Yeah, I've been meaning to watch it because everyone says Tobey Maguire is the best one." So I was like, "Yeah, he kind of is." So we'll watch it. And God, I really love the first Spider-Man movie.
It is.
It's a great origin movie. It's got Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin.
It has Randy
it's like who
Savage.
else would you even want?
It's got Randy Savage. I quote that on a regular basis. I'm like, fuck, I already forgot the quote. I literally just said it last night.
You know what? I just watched the movie. I
It's
already
like
forgot
Stone
what
Brain.
his.
Like it.
It's like what's his name in the movie?
Bonesaw is
Yeah,
ready.
Dude, I used to love that when the movie first came out. Like they used to play it on HBO and TV so much. I would literally like always come across like that part.
Well, that's a pretty outfit you got there. Did your wife buy it for you?
It was like some early 2000s homophobia. He's like, "Oh, did your husband buy that for
Oh, that's
you?"
what he says. Yeah.
And then he goes, "Bonesaw don't have no husband." And then Bruce Campbell's the wrestling match.
I really
commentator.
wish
And then he's also in the second movie. He's like
an usher,
An usher.
and that's the third one maybe.
No, that's in the second one. And then the third one, I think he's like a taxi driver or something. I don't remember actually.
I know he's an usher in the one where Mary Jane is like
Finally
on Broadway.
I think that might be the second one. Because the second one is where
it's after they break up, because he goes and sits in on it, and then they end up talking afterwards. I think it ends up leading them getting back together.
Yeah, and it's like
and Harry's like,
that's the one where he quits being Spider-Man.
I love that Sam
Raimi
gets Bruce Campbell to make cameos and even his huge blockbuster hits.
Well, he wanted to be they wanted him to be Mysterio, right?
They wanted Bruce Campbell to be.
They were building up to that, but then the third one he didn't have full creative control, and they wanted to shoehorn a bunch of shit in, and he just.
I wish they would have let Sam Raimi do his thing for the third one, because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna put Mysterio. It's like, dude, you can't. You did Dr. Octopus, you did Green Goblin. You're doing all your favorites. You got to do one the fans want, and that's don't do anything the fans want.
Yeah. I'll be honest,
because if the fans want Venom, you're gonna get that Tom Hardy movie.
I think honestly, what they should have done again. Hey, look, Spider-Man podcast. I think what they should have done is the executives should have been like, look, you got to have at least the symbiote in the movie. You don't have to do Venom,
but hinted.
But at least have him run around in the black suit, show that he's starting to get a little bit more.
And maybe end credit scene hints at Venom.
Yeah, like what you could do is just focus on Sandman be a secondary villain, just to establish the plot. Just have something to keep driving the plot forward in the first half. And then you have the whole Harry's, like, the new Green Goblin thing on the back half of the movie. And then have it conclude with Spider-Man, like, maybe like he accidentally kills Harry or something like that. Ooh. And he realizes that the suit made him do it. The climax of the very end of the film is him, like, going up on the bell tower, ripping the suit off. And then, like, after credits, it shows it, like, creeping towards Eddie Brock.
Do you focus less
on Movie 4 is Venom.
Do you focus less on the romance narrative?
You could probably still have it.
You can still have that.
If you cut all the...
Would you want Mysterio
or a lot of the Venom stuff.
Yeah. Would you want Mysterio to be... Honestly,
have Mysterio
Bruce Campbell as Mysterio is kind of goofy, but I would like that.
They could have Mysterio be in, like, again, this imaginary fourth movie that never happened. Have Mysterio be the kind of similar to Sam Raimi. He fills in the first half of the movie, and then have it really be like, oh, actually, Venom's the real bad guy here.
Have you seen the video where it's like Tobey Maguire talking about Spider-Man 4 2 days before it gets canceled?
Are you serious?
And it's like him talking about like the ideas that like is gonna go down. It's just kind of sad because he has no idea what's about to hit him.
Did you know that like over the years of Ben and I's friendship, he still manages to find things about those Spider-Man movies to tell me, like little trivia facts that like I don't know about. And like I've seen the movie so many times, I know he's seen it like me times two, like. And Ben will be like, "Did you know that scene with the lunch tray?"
Yeah, he actually
did it. Yeah. Or what's the other thing you told me about?
The prosthetics they had for the Green Goblin. Oh yeah, it was a real spider that they painted to look like.
It
wasn't a CG spider. It was a real spider.
I told somebody that and they thought I was full of shit. Like
they were getting,
it's like they were getting mad that happened.
It sounds like Raimi was just like, "Look, I got some budget to fill. Spider painters, get some spider painters in here."
He's just trying to piss off.
They got like nail polish and they're like trying to hold it down. They're like, "Stop moving."
He's sitting there like, "Teach you, I can't get Mysterio in my movie." Fuck, I can.
Yeah.
And then, it's funny. I wonder if anyone painting the spider got bitten by the spider that actually bites.
They probably like put it in like a freezer so it would get like all cold and dormant.
Don't they hire a spider anesthesiologist?
Take a tiny little spider mask and like, all right, count backwards from 10. And then they make it come back from 8 because it's a rat.
Yeah.
All right, so.
That's what I meant.
Before we talk about got our obligatory 15 minutes of Spider-Man in. We watched Ryan Gosling movies this week, as you may remember if you listened to the last episode.
Oh yeah.
If you made it to the end of last episode, why we're changing our format. So yeah, we are going to be talking about Fracture, Lost River, and Blade Runner 2049 this week. And TJ, why don't you take the reins on this one since Fracture was your movie? Do you want to give me just the general gist off the top of your head?
No. Fracture was an attorney intent on climbing the career ladder towards success finds an unlikely opponent in a manipulative criminal he is trying to prosecute.
That just sounds like a law movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that doesn't capture the real essence of what's going on here.
It's Anthony Hopkins being a creepy old man and Ryan Gosling being unprepared.
I think Anthony Hopkins exclusively plays roles that portray him as incredibly intelligent.
Yeah,
I feel like he's like Odin, all-knowing, Hannibal Lecter, like criminal mastermind.
Westworld. He created Westworld.
And now we've got him playing, what was his name? Ted Crawford?
A genius fucking, like the perfect crime almost.
Yeah, like he exclusively plays roles. I want to see him like play like a Sling Blade next.
Yeah.
Where he just slow him down.
Get Anthony Hopkins off his high horse.
Yeah, get some range in here.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah. So, to give a more in-depth view, do you want to talk about like what the movie's actually about.
Yeah, so I remember the way the movie starts off. It's kind of weird because even you were like, "Where the hell's like Ryan Gosling?
Yeah,
Where
where's
the
this
hell's this
going?
movie going?"
Where's this going?
It ends up with like Anthony Hopkins' character catches his wife like in the middle of an affair, and he blatantly catches it.
He's like stalking her.
Like he's stalking her. He sees it. He
He's
comes
wearing
home early.
old man stocking clothes,
And
bucket hat.
He
Bucket hat and sunglasses.
He does the Anthony Hopkins signature smart dude fucking with somebody who's not quite as smart.
Yeah,
Sort of
where
thing,
he talks to
like,
them in a very
and
calm
it's not
way.
even I'm saying not quite as smart. It's just a matter of he's always one step ahead of the other person.
Exactly.
In a sense, and he ends up catching her and just coldly shooting his wife.
Yeah, he shoots her like
in the cheek.
In the cheek.
Yeah, like
And paralyzes her or puts her in a coma.
Puts her in a coma.
Yeah, just fucking brutal though. Like it's just like like the way he did it, you know, kind of thing. It's
and then the cop who shows up, like the first responder, is the guy who was sleeping with his wife.
And a crazy thing happens. He somehow gets him to come in the house by himself.
Yeah.
Hostage situation. And then he says that I got a confession and a murder weapon and everything. Like, you know, he pretty much says that he did it, kind of thing.
Exactly.
But the confession was under duress, so it's no good.
And then so that's like what, like the first opening
15, 20 minutes.
And
you're like, okay, this guy's gonna go to jail immediately.
Yeah, you think it should be open and shut.
So then the rest of the movie's like you got hotshot up and coming attorney Ryan Gosling,
who we should note has a terrible like Texas drawl in
Yes.
this movie. I do not like his accent. I think it was really bad.
I don't even think I noticed that he had an accent.
Oh, how could you not?
It's not great.
It was weird.
That's my one takeaway from this movie. There's two things I don't like. His accent is one of them.
I didn't hate it, but
Don't
it was
even.
definitely
How did I
jarring.
not notice that?
I don't know, man.
I think I was just so caught up in like the movie that like I was on the edge of my seat.
It was
the whole
probably
time.
Ryan Gosling's eyes.
You just got lost in them. Look at that steely, like kind of like smoldering look he has on the.
It looks like it looks like he's seen 1,000 years worth of knowledge, but he's just Ryan Gosling.
And that's not what his character looks like in the movie at all.
No,
his character is a lot more like energetic, and that feels like it's almost like a cold.
But
exactly.
back on the But you meet hotshot attorney Ryan Gosling. He's getting ready to go to this badass firm that everybody's like, how the fuck did you even get a spot in there?
Because he was like a district attorney working in the DA's office, which is not like glamorous work.
And then he's like,
but right before he's about to leave, they're like,
Newton Sims.
Right before he's about to leave, he has like pretty much an undefeated record too. Like he has like
he's
what, like
earned
3
his
losses. It's a crazy record.
Yeah. But then you find out it's that because he's like handpicked each case that he knows is like better for him.
But that's the thing though. It's an open.
Smart.
But that's smart.
But someone comes in, he's like, open and shut case. This should be really easy. We need someone down there.
End your career here on a high note. You know,
Yeah.
put away a guy for murdering his wife.
And that's when Anthony Hopkins just starts taking a liking to him when he sees him in the courtroom.
Yeah, because he shows up in a tuxedo because he's like on the way to a fancy party.
Yeah. So like, and then Anthony Hopkins does this thing where he's like, "Bitch, you don't got a murder weapon," and I was, he beat that confession out of me. Doesn't stand.
Yeah, he starts playing.
Ryan
he beat me up.
God fucking.
He starts playing.
He's like, he beat me up, and also I wouldn't trust anything he said because he was fucking my wife.
Yep.
He starts playing with Gosling's ego too, though, because Gosling's a person that doesn't like to lose.
Exactly.
And he knows that, and he knows that like what he stepped into is gonna like drive him like crazy. So now it's like this battle of wits.
Yeah,
between
it's like an escalation because it is like a cat and mouse situation.
It really
it's
is.
like the second that Ryan Gosling's character. Let me pull up. His
I really like stuff like this where it's like
Willie.
Because I was watching it and I was just like, I'm like, I don't understand how there's more movie after this. He's just gonna go to jail immediately.
Yeah, but no, that was not the case.
But then it like you know what? I feel like this movie had almost a similar vibe to like. Speaking of Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's in the movie.
Yeah, where it's like it should be like pretty clear cut, but then like you realize it's like nope, not even close.
It just hits you with like a left turn.
Because you got to prove it.
It's definitely
that's the hardest part.
It's a way more than meets the eye kind of thing.
Exactly.
And
Gone Girl's a really good movie.
It is.
I love that one.
And without talking about the ending of this movie, because the ending has like one of the biggest like, oh shit. Literally, like the last like 20 minutes, it's like, oh my god, oh no.
It turns into a real nail biter. Like
then Anthony Hopkins says something and you're like, damn it, and then Ryan Gosling says something and you're like, yes, and then he says something and you're like, damn it.
I know.
Then Ryan Gosling says, but I got this, and then you're like, yes.
Yeah, like the last like 5 minutes of their conversation, it's like a ping pong match. It's
yeah,
like,
it really is. It's like it feels like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's like, I've one-upped you, but here. He's like, well,
Yeah.
I've one-upped you over here. He's like, well, I've one-upped you right here.
That's exactly what it is.
And Gosling does such a good job too. Like the performances between the leads, Hopkins and Gosling in this movie, they deliver like such powerful monologues between each other and stuff, and it pays off in the end though. What I'm saying is that final banter. I'm not gonna spoil anything or anything like that, but the final banter.
Yeah, honestly,
is really
this movie,
well written.
This movie, we probably shouldn't spoil it because I think
I think that the best part is how it plays out.
Watching this movie, not knowing how it unfolds.
That being said, can I say one thing I didn't like, and I'm not sure if you guys would feel the same way? Do you feel like the romance subplot was wholly unnecessary and could just be removed from this movie?
I was about to say that.
Okay, because it feels like it's just there. It's like we need a love interest.
I think it was there, and it was also there because it's like, well, Ryan Gosling needs to be at point B while this is happening over there. Like when he's like, he has to have a distraction. He has to have a thing to do.
Because like she's there in a scene. It's like, okay, he needs to date her so that he can get in with that one judge who will later be able to sign a paper for him. And it feels like in order, like, couldn't they just have like another?
They could have just been friends.
Isn't it also friends?
I think it could have just been buddies.
Wasn't it also kind of like?
It could have been a dude. Her character could have been a dude. They could have just been buddies.
It was also partial
to coworker.
It was partial to like character development too, because by him getting closer to her, you find out too like he's not the most best morally good person.
Oh yeah, because he's sleeping with like his boss.
He's sleeping with his boss. He's willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead.
Yeah, but that was like I think.
And if it was a girl character sleeping with the boss, that would have a very different connotation.
That would be a very different connotation.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like she's there for like
I did
plot
think it was plot development, but it could have been
written
done
better. Yeah,
that's the one thing I think.
Every movie also needs to have a love interest. Not literally needs to, but like Hollywood thinks they need to have a love interest.
And this came out what 2007?
Hollywood, my friend.
Yeah, Hollywood, your friend.
So like it came out in 2007, which was really the peak of like, hey, that was I think the point where everyone needed a love interest. I feel like early 2000s was
you couldn't get that experimental
the most cookie cutter.
Yeah,
like I think
you had a format and you stick
studios
with it.
had the most involvement from like 1999 to like 2010.
Name a movie from between 2000
really
and 2010 that doesn't have a love interest.
It's hard
to
find like blockbusters that don't.
Yeah, it would probably be some independent movie that I've never seen.
Yeah. Like it's.
I feel like I haven't seen. You know what? I feel like I haven't seen a lot of independent movies from like the early and mid 2000s. I feel like independent movies are kind of a recent thing for me.
I feel like they've gotten a lot more push. I think it's just because the internet has developed a culture where
I mean, there's a couple
are able to be so easily put out there and accessed.
You ever see Chuck and Buck?
What?
Chuck and Buck?
No.
From the year 2000, very low budget.
There's more than you think you've seen though. Like you sit there and start thinking about it.
No, Chuck.
Oh, Chuck and Buck.
Yeah, Chuck and Buck.
Because I remember I used to watch like I know it's not like full blown indie stuff, but they would always get a hold of the weird ones.
Just hit the search.
In the early 2000s, that's when like IFC. When did IFC become a channel? Like I used to watch IFC all the time.
I don't know. I started watching IFC,
and you'd stumble
around
across
like the 5th season of Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, well, when it first became a channel, they used to just show all kinds of indie flicks and stuff that was like from like Sundance and those independent films. And there was a decent amount in the 2000s.
I like
bigger movies than
maybe.
You think,
yeah, maybe it was just like I didn't know it was an independent movie because it still came out in theaters.
IFC's technically started in 1994, so it's been around for a while.
Oh wow!
But when did it become a channel? Like, remember, it used to be a movie channel.
It just launched September 1st, 1994.
IFC stands for Independent Film Channel, so I guess it has to always be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's owned by AMC. I didn't know that.
They used to do a lot of stuff. I used to watch that channel all the time.
What does AM stand for in AMC? Is it American Movie?
American Movie Channel, I believe.
But then they have like the best TV shows.
Do they have the best TV shows?
They had
Breaking Bad.
They had Breaking Bad.
Mad Men.
Mad Men's okay. I think it gets a little bit more credit than it deserves.
I like Mad Men.
I'm not gonna say Walking Dead.
I think it was because it's like, hey,
Walking Dead
it's
is
an HBO-esque show that's not on HBO.
Walking Dead is popular.
It's popular.
They have this one.
It's the best.
Oh no, I'm thinking of FX. FX has really good TV shows.
FX is the shit, man.
FX has shows that are like pretty decent for one season, and then they get canceled.
Exactly.
That's what FX likes to do.
FX is like.
But anyway,
we're
Chuck
almost
and Buck.
HBO.
Chuck and Buck's a weird movie.
See, he looks familiar. The guy on the
left.
Yeah,
he's like in School of Rock and shit.
Oddly naive man-child.
Yeah, so it's like go back to the
Mike White.
Yeah, you've seen him and stuff.
Ned Schneebly.
It's an oddly naive man-child stalks his childhood best friend and tries to reconnect with their past. That's very surface level. I'll go ahead. I don't think you guys care about this movie. I'll spoil basically.
I probably won't check this out.
It's one of those like
future.
It's one of those like even if we watched it and you spoiled it, it's okay.
Yeah, no. Even if you watched it, what happened? What they don't tell you, but you find out kind of soon, like maybe halfway through the movie, is that back when they were kids, they had like a little love affair.
Oh.
And he
they jerk each other off.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. They he there's a scene where he's like
Don't
at his
look at
house.
me after saying that.
There's a scene where he's like at the guy's house, and he's like, come on, we should. He's like, because he's still obviously like a man child, and he's grown up to do like good things. Like he's like works at a record company or something, and he's like talking. He's like, we should play like we used to, and he's like, he has like a wife now, and he's like talking. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, you remember chucking buck, sucking fuck?
Oh,
and I'm just like, and then you're just like, oh shit, what?
See, I can't relate to this. I never jerked off a friend.
I never jerked off a friend either.
But, like, apparently, like
that is a big thing.
This is an internet thing, but like, it's a thing, I guess.
It
it's
happens.
just like horny, like 12-years just like, I don't know what this is. My
they
parents
don't know
haven't
any
given me the
better.
talk yet. Like, all right, it's not weird, I guess, right?
It's a whole.
And then people realize, be like, they turn 18 and they're like, oh god, and like it hits them.
It's a whole subgenre of anime, really creepy anime.
And this is where we announce our
forgotten.
No. A subgenre of little boys doing things with each other. It's called Shotokan anime.
Okay, don't look that one up, guys.
Don't look up Boku no
Yeah,
Pico.
this is a PSA. Like, seriously, like, don't fucking acknowledge
Boku
that
no
shit
Pico?
exists.
Yeah. Don't look up Boku no Pico.
And this is when we announce our next special week.
Anime week.
Okay, no.
We just solidified we can never do an anime week with Pierce.
Okay, so
Make you guys watch some weird shit.
So I'm gonna uncomfortably change the subject.
Yeah.
So what's our next movie, Pierce? What'd you pick?
Yeah.
I picked
Thanks
Lost
a lot
River.
for Road and Fracture, asshole.
Oh yeah, Fracture, pretty good. Check it out.
Yeah, watch Fracture.
It's got some problems, but like overall, it's a good thriller.
Yeah. It's very early 2000s.
Genuinely liked it.
Style wise.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't like that look, like aesthetically. But if it's a good movie, I can get past it.
I actually think that was one of the first movies.
Yeah, for Fracture.
I actually think that was one of the first movies with Ryan Gosling in it where I started taking note of who he was. Like, other than that, it was like he was in the Notebook I saw, and I didn't care much for the Notebook.
Ryan Gosling's career has been really interesting because he's
from
taken extended
romantic
breaks.
comedies.
Like he does like movies in waves where he'll put out like 3 or 4 movies that are kind of in the same vein, and then he'll take like a break. He's like, I think I lost my focus, and he comes back and reinvents what he's doing, and then he takes a break, and then he comes back. And I think we're in the comedy Gosling era right now.
Yeah, because he has been in like
where he does like kind of funny, lighthearted movies where he just has fun.
But then he's also still doing like reffin' type shit.
Yeah.
Like he did First Man, Blade Runner, The Nice Guy, Song to Song, La La Land, and The Big Short. Like those are all pretty.
Blade Runner's not a comedy.
It's not.
Blade Runner is very serious.
That's one that he couldn't say no to. But like with the other movies,
Gangster
like
Squad,
I haven't seen
Gangster Squad. I don't think is supposed to be a comedy.
No.
Oops. Hold on.
Hey, I think we have the same alarm.
We have the same phone and case. Like.
Yeah, there's been times I've almost like
It's
walked
TJ's
out.
alarm.
Yeah, there's been times where he like picks up my phone
There
and
was
walks out. I'm
one
like, hey,
time-
that one's mine, and he's
Well,
like,
you had to
oh.
put a sticker on it.
There
so
was
you
one
can't
time
say-
Yeah, you got a
Pierce
sticker
just
on
kept
it.
saying, that one's mine, that one's mine, that one's mine. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, that one's mine. Like, I literally almost grabbed his phone and just walked out the room.
All right, so let's talk about Lost River, Pierce.
Okay, so Lost River is Ryan Gosling's directorial debut, and I don't think he's directed anything else.
I
at
don't
least full
believe-
length
I think he's done
wise.
some music videos possibly for his band.
He has
Maybe.
a band?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like an indie band type.
Yeah,
thing.
they're called the Something Bones.
Is he
the Rusty Bones?
lead man, drummer, guitarist? What is he? What is
Ryan
his
Gosling-
involvement? Does he play the piano in it? Because that makes
Yeah,
sense.
It's a 2-piece band, Dead Man's Bones.
Yeah, I think
Since 2007.
I'm pretty sure he sings.
They have a song on the soundtrack for Conjuring.
No fucking
yeah,
way.
yeah, that's...
Okay, but why does that say Dead Man's Bones featuring Ryan Gosling?
Well, it's
Oh, it's a documentary special.
yeah, it's a rock duo of him and his friend Zach Shields.
I feel like I've heard the name Zach Shields before.
Again, this was like one of his reinventions where he's like,
Okay, so he played guitar for it, and then he learned piano for La La Land, so I'm sure now he plays piano in Dead Man's Bones.
in this,
He
they
does.
use a lot of different instruments, and they talk about how they played stuff they didn't know how to play on the album because they're like, "Hey, let's learn how to do this," and they figured it out.
Yeah, that's what Ryan Gosling does. He just learns how to do things, and now I think he knows how to do basically everything. He knows how to
Pretty
He fixed up a car when he was doing Drive.
Yeah, like Ryan
because
Gosling
he wanted
is a smart dude.
to get into the character. He did a bunch of carpentry work when he did The Notebook. Like he built a lot of the stuff that's in that house.
Ryan Gosling, his like talking like. I read a bit about his childhood and stuff, and how he was always kind of a loner kid. Like he got bullied a lot in like young school, and he ended up getting pulled out of public school, and he got homeschooled by his mom, and he just became really self-sufficient, and like he ended up teaching himself a lot of things that are practical knowledge because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that mindset has gone forward into his acting career, where he wants to be that kind of guy.
I think that the next movie, The Lost River, what you're talking about is a perfect display.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because like, I'm gonna direct.
Because there's the movie's flawed to a degree, but what you're seeing is him trying a lot of different things.
Yes.
Like he's not afraid to try and show off his influences and show that he's learning things. And there's a lot of potential in this movie.
This is influenced by Refn a lot.
There's a lot.
And I think we should. There's a lot to talk about there after we actually talk about what the movie's about.
Right. But but it's exactly feeding into like what you were saying.
I'll read what it says on IMDb. It says a single mother is swept into a dark underworld while her teenage son discovers a road that leads him to a secret underwater town.
Now, can I tell you my synopsis?
Yes, let's give you your synopsis.
Right, my synopsis is Ryan Gosling shares some personal entries from his fever dream journal.
Yeah. There's a lot of just weird shit that does not make sense in this movie in any capacity.
I really think it's just him just kind of going crazy with it. I think they let Ryan Gosling, whoever gave him the money, was just like, Ryan Gosling, you can basically do whatever. I trust you, you're Ryan Gosling. And then Ryan Gosling was like, well, no one's ever, I think, really ever let me do that, so I'm going to go weird with it. Because this movie is, like, narratively all over the place.
Narratively, it's all over the place. Yeah. So basically, it's like, mom lives in, like, Schittsburg, Pennsylvania, or wherever it is. Like, it is fucking garbage town. They're just tearing down the houses around her because they're like, these are vacant, empty shit houses.
She's like 4 months behind on rent.
She's like 4 months behind on rent, which must be $20 in this town.
Which is like, it's like $60 altogether.
Yeah. And she's got a baby child who gets forgotten after the first 5 seconds of the movie. And then a teenage son. I know. And there's a teenage son.
What happens to the baby?
Stripping copper.
They bring the baby back.
But the baby kind of just... It comes back briefly in moments, but there's long stretches where it's like, she doesn't have the baby and he doesn't have the baby. Who has the baby?
That is true. Yeah,
the son's out stripping copper during the day, and she's at this weird
fetish
pop-up
thing.
Fetish gore stage play that also
theater,
happens to have in the basement this weird plastic mold that women get into, and then men beat on it.
Yeah.
And take out aggression. It's very weird.
Dude, that whole part...
It's probably a metaphor for something.
It probably is, and I'm not smart enough to get it.
Just thinking about that part makes me anxious, though.
It's weird.
Like, when she gets in that thing, and
he's
it's
like
so...
dancing?
Not only that, though, it's so airtight, and the way it opens and closes, and you can
but it's
barely
also
breathe.
Odd, because it's like, what demand is there in this small town for one, that kind of show, and two, that kind of service?
And that guy just goes around putting these pop-up freak shows
It's a small rundown town.
And the guy, it's the bad guy from Ready Player One.
But who's to say that
he's the bad guy from lots of things?
No. Yeah, he's
Rogue
Place
One.
Beyond the
Who's to say that?
He's in Rogue One.
He's in Place Beyond the Pines.
I love Place Beyond the Pines.
You just watched that.
I just watched it. I can talk about it.
I mean, I've seen that movie. We can talk about that too. It's right.
All right, we'll talk about this after because it also stars Ben Mendelsohn.
Christina Hendricks, her beautiful self.
But there's overlap. Like this guy's also in Place Beyond the Pines.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think Ryan Gosling just likes the guy.
The whole stripping the copper thing, and when Matt Smith's character is
Smith, you haven't talked about Matt Smith yet.
He's so shot out.
What is he?
Matt Smith is like the guy from what's that fucking South African rap duo?
Ninja.
He's Ninja. Like
he's basically Ninja in this movie.
Yeah. Like that's the vibe I got from him.
And it's really weird seeing
he's like cutting rat heads off with scissors and that scene cutting people's lips off.
That scene where he's like at the gas station. The scene where it's like the gas station. There's some random woman and he's going, I said, what's your name, girl? And then she's like, I don't even remember what she's saying, but she's going, blah, 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 and then he goes, I said, what's your name,
I think
girl?
Matt Smith was just in character fucking with locals.
I think he was.
I think so.
That's what
it felt like that was an imposed scene. Like it didn't feel...
It felt like so weird.
He's like, you want to sit on this throne kind of thing?
Yeah.
It's literally just like a
chair,
a recliner chair.
To a chair.
Yeah, like a lazy
back of the car.
Like a lazy boy just dead.
It was cool. It was cool. It was very...
This movie...
had a lot of cool visuals.
It's very surreal and dreamlike.
Yeah, it has. That's exactly what it is. It feels like a weird fever dream. It's powerful in some scenes, and it makes you feel things, but as a narrative, it's very odd and
Yeah,
hard to
exactly.
follow.
Some of
at
my
times.
favorite things about this movie was the visuals and the cinematography, like the shot, just the where it's the light posts in the water that it comes across.
Because
in the middle of the
I
woods.
think it was like they flooded a town because they like built a dam and like that was like the reservoir.
Yeah.
It was this old abandoned town, and then the street lamps still work, but they like descend because as the street goes down into the water, the light posts follow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool.
There's
look.
one scene when they do that shot when it's like almost
right
kind of
there.
like the street lights are starting to come on because like the sun's going down, sort of thing. It just looks
it's like
really. It just looks really cool.
It does.
And then
Ryan Gosling has a lot of like this is a movie where it is like it bleeds style.
yeah, and
he's shown that he's
especially when it's doing like the gore scenes with like it's like the whole club thing is like it's hot women doing gory things to themselves, but it's like I mean it's not real, but it's like still done in like a sexy manner, and it made me really uncomfortable. But it's the point of it.
It's
like
really
when she peels
interesting.
her face off. I don't like skin peeling. I
that's
like gore.
something I don't like eyeballs.
that was a really cool effect though.
I can watch people getting eviscerated, guts everywhere, but what
peeling the face,
peeling
off.
skin and just skin in general.
Which was a really cool practical effect.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But yeah, like this movie, like if you look at when it came out in 2014, right? So Hugh came in off 2014. He had just done Place Beyond the Pines in 2012. Only God Forgives in 2013. He did Drive in 2011, and I feel like stylistically, those three movies primed him to make this.
Have you seen Only God Forgives?
That's the one I have not seen of those three.
I've seen that one. It's
but I know
it's another one like
stylistically, it's
Lost
very
River.
in that same vein.
It's not as fantasy as Lost River is.
It's probably closer to Place Beyond the Pines, I imagine.
It's closer to. I don't even know what it's. It's just like narratively, it's all over the place. It's really gritty. It tackles some very strange subjects like being in Thailand and people wanting to have sex with underage
I didn't
people.
realize that's the basis for that. Okay.
Yeah, because he's in Thailand and he's like a white guy in Thailand and he runs like an underground fight club.
Oh, actually, I need to get on that. And that sounds really cool.
And it's a very pretty movie. A lot of like neon lights and stuff. And there's like this cop character, but he's a Thai cop and he has a sword instead of a gun.
Okay.
And but I'm making it sound like it's this action-packed movie, but it's not. It really isn't.
Huh. I need to check that one out.
It's a slow burn. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's definitely worth a watch.
Is it? Do you think those kinds of movies, like from that, like
it's a Refn movie?
Do you think it feels almost like a neo noir? Where
it's almost like
it's
grimy acid noir.
I could see
yeah.
I would say
I don't think it's a category, but like
acid noir.
It's like it's one of those elements, but it's set in a modern setting.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of pulpy.
Yeah.
You see Neon Demon, right?
Yes.
It's similar to that.
Absolutely.
Because it's another Refn movie, so.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, in Lost River, there's a lot of very interesting camera work that he does in this.
But throughout
it's a very interesting.
Throughout the whole movie, you're going, what in the fuck? Like, where is this going?
Yeah, because there's some parts where it's like I watched this like years ago when it first came out. I saw it on like HBO or something, and I didn't really remember a lot of it because it is kind of like I'm like I thought I half remembered some of it.
It's like, is this a movie?
Then rewatching, I'm like, nope, I remember that, right?
Yeah, but it's also like never once did I want to turn it off. Like,
but
it's
this
like
is a movie that if it came on while you were like half asleep, it
would mess with you.
It would be like.
You're gonna dream some weird shit that night if you fall asleep watching this movie.
Yeah, but it shows Ryan Gosling's got a lot of potential. I would like to see him.
I want to see him step into it.
I want to see him do more
directing, writing.
And like I was saying, the guy who's the bad guy from Ready Player One, and he's in Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah,
I see him in a lot of things. Yeah, that's his name. I see him in a lot of things. I'm starting to really like him.
I like him. I think he always puts on a strong performance.
Yeah.
I feel like I think he actually has range. I think he can play a very sincere character, but he also ends up playing a lot of slimy characters too.
There's a movie, it's like a Netflix original that he's in that I want to watch, and it kind of looks like I'm trying to think of the director's name, like one of his kind of movies. The guy who did that Ben Stiller and Adam Sandler movie. The Meyerowitz stories.
The one where like he goes to visit his
Noah
dad.
Baumbach. Noah
Like
Baumbach.
the One's like the not
Yeah.
doing so well brother, and then the one's like
Adam
the
Sandler's
successful
the
asshole.
Did you watch
So,
that? I thought you
yeah.
told me that one was.
I watched the first 10 minutes of it, and I was not feeling it.
It's I watched some of it, and I because I think my mom was watching it. What I like about it has a lot of natural dialogue. Like it feels like real people talking,
Which is a strength, but
Lost River too. The music score that they throw in is interesting at certain points because it sounds like there's different nods to like. Remember we were watching it and there was like. It sounded straight up like the Suspiria.
yeah, there was like the Suspiria like score. Like,
There was
it got
something
very,
there.
Like,
There was another thing that was
Maybe a
kind of
sample.
slightly Carpenter-esque.
there was a little bit Carpenter. I thought there was one thing that you think sounded like the Phantasm.
Yeah, like
theme.
there was
Like it was very
just-
weird.
There was
yeah.
little
It
things
was
that
very
were.
80s, like the
It was
sound.
it was subtle enough, but like you're like, wait a second, hold on, there's something familiar.
Which
there.
maybe that was intentional, and it was supposed to like make you feel like you've seen this before. Like it's supposed to like incite like maybe it's
Maybe.
like
Like sense of
like,
deja
like a
vu.
recurrence.
Interesting.
I don't
That's
know,
a.
probably.
I mean, I don't know. Put it past it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
It's
a-
definitely
I'm
a
a
movie.
It's a
cough-
very
I'm a
experimental
cough
movie.
real
So
quick.
It's definitely a movie that has it's up for interpretation.
Oh yeah.
Like there's different ways to like piece this together.
three people could watch this movie like we did and leave with very different understanding.
yeah, this is a movie that I'm hard pressed to recommend.
Right. It's a special
However,
interest movie.
I could recommend it to certain people that I know.
Yeah. I would
couldn't just
recommend
recommend
it
it to
under
anyone.
the conditions that you are very much keyed into a narrative loose
Art
story.
house. You have to like art house.
Art house.
Yeah.
You got to be into visuals and surrealism.
Yeah, because I would say this is kind of style over.
Don't watch it for the
substance.
story. Watch it because it's something that's interesting and different.
Yeah.
It's not, like the movie just kind of happens. You don't really
Yeah.
like. You're not following a story.
If
It
you're a
doesn't
fan,
feel like it has a start or an end.
if you're a fan of
Exactly.
Gosling or Refn or any of the other people we just mentioned,
It'd be funny if he put himself like a
Even-
Hitchcock or Shyamalan
even-
cameo in the movie.
even David Lynch-ish slightly.
Yeah, no, I can see
I
that.
can't say full blown David Lynch, obviously.
It's like
but
if David Lynch and Refn co-directed
Sort
a
of.
movie or something.
yeah,
Because there's like some of the dialogue is kind of Lynchian.
that's what I mean. It's just Lynchian. Yes,
Yeah, it's
it's some
odd.
slight Lynchianness to it, like some Blue Velvet type shit going on. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that brings us into our last movie, I suppose. What's up?
Can I go pee?
Yeah, go pee, TJ.
Okay.
All right, now that he's gone, let's talk about the real stuff.
Exactly. You don't have to close the door. It's okay.
Look at Ryan Gosling, or not Ryan Gosling, Zac Efron. He's got white hair.
He does have white
Is
hair.
is the Osment kid gonna be in the Ted Bundy movie?
I imagine so.
That's weird.
As what though? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's him.
I know Sheldon is in
Who
it.
does he play?
Jim Parsons, the guy who plays Sheldon, is in it.
Really?
He plays like a lawyer.
Oh, you're right. He does.
Lily Collins, that's her fucking name.
Okay, I don't see anywhere on here.
I don't see him either.
James Hetfield's in it as a police officer.
Who's James Hetfield? Click on the picture.
Metallica.
Oh! Oh, that James.
Like, interesting. Huh. I
Is he
didn't
an
realize-
actor
I didn't
now,
realize-
or is he just
Yeah, he's gonna be
a cop? Of course.
He's playing a police officer. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So he's just like, oh my god, Through the Never, the
I
most
didn't realize-
badass concert movie.
Yeah. No, I saw that in theaters.
Did you really?
Yeah.
In an empty theater. I'm sure it's
Uh-huh.
fucking awkward.
It was super
When-
awkward.
especially when it has like the super slow mo, big hammer scene or whatever.
Yeah, TJ had a higher opinion of it than I did. But it's interesting that he worked on the soundtrack for X-Men Apocalypse.
Interesting. He also did the soundtrack for Mystery Science Theater 3000 because apparently they use Enter Sandman like 20 times.
Really? Huh.
Oh,
Interesting.
He's
getting some work.
Wolfgang in Skylanders Academy.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That'd be cool if like your kid's watching a show and you find out that the person in the show is like the lead singer of Metallica.
And like, it's kind of cool because like, he's a singer, so vocal work you think would just kind of come naturally. Whereas like, he
Exactly.
could transfer that over pretty well. Like he's familiar about how to do a voice.
Have you seen or have you played the game Jack and Daxter?
Yeah, I played the shit out of Jack and Daxter.
I love Jack. I love the. I have the 3 games downloaded on my PlayStation
Uh-huh.
3. I had them for the PlayStation 2.
Same.
But the one bad guy, you know how there's like the 2 the Dark Sage or whatever.
Yeah, and the first one.
And he has like the very raspy like
Yeah.
voice. That's Dee Snider.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that until like
Yeah, it was Mira and
I forgot their character names, but Jack and Daxter. That's some PlayStation gold right there.
I spelled enemy the worst way possible. Don't look at that.
Whoa.
Anemones.
It is
Praxis.
no, that's from the wrong game.
No, yeah, that's...
That's from the second one.
Yeah, those games are cool because, like, the first one's very, like, colorful, whatever, and then the second one, they're like, okay, all those kids who like the first game, they're a little older now, so we're going to make this a badass teen game.
Hot take, I really would want to see a Jack and Daxter trilogy movie.
No, I've always said that.
I feel like it could translate over pretty well.
I've always thought that Jack and
Did you see
Daxter could translate into a pretty interesting movie.
No,
No,
that was
that's
Ratchet and Clank. I'd mix them up.
The Ratchet and Clank movie's not terrible.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it.
Not terrible.
You could do a
I
Jack
heard
and
they're
Daxter
doing
movie.
a
It
Sly Cooper.
retells. I'm
I saw a trailer for it like a long time ago.
Sly Cooper. Just do a
Sly
heist
Cooper
movie with cartoon animals. Boom, done. Cool.
But would you want Jack and Daxter to be a live action movie?
No.
Or would you want it to be an
CG.
animated movie?
I want it to be like one of those like in between CG live action.
Where
Like
it's
the
just
Ratchet
like
and
kind of
Clank
the,
movie.
but not necessarily like.
No, that was full CG.
Oh, was it full? Okay.
So like dinosaur, like Disney's Dinosaur.
No, I
Where
would
they
want it
use
to be
real like they use video of real
Huh.
trying to
scenery,
think of,
but
like,
then
an
have CG
equivalent.
dinosaurs.
But
in
you
it.
acknowledging that movie exists, I remember that movie exists.
I like that movie. It's actually a pretty solid Disney
I don't
movie.
like
It's
it.
dark.
No, I'm trying to think.
Maybe it's my nostalgia because I watched it as a kid.
If they gave it the Beowulf treatment, but did it good.
but
That style.
I feel like
that
I don't
style
know
where
if,
it's kind of like almost
I don't know if it would the big years and stuff and,
Spider-Verse it.
and Daxter.
Guys,
Spider-Verse.
we can't-
I feel like
Just
you
give
could
it
do
a
Spider-Verse
good, just give
anything.
it a good animated adaptation where it's like 2D coexisting with a 3D kind of deal. I can see you.
I would like to see a live action Daxter though.
Oh god, that could be horrible. It's gonna look like Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. They
It's
could
gonna
be
look like Sonic with creepy, like realistic fur. He's gonna look too real.
Who would
No,
you,
no, not
who
too
would
real.
you get?
So who would you get if they were doing a live action one? Who would you get as Jack?
Jack, you get Michael Cera. No,
Bill Hader.
Bill
Bill Hader would be a great Daxter.
That's what I was thinking.
Bill Hader would be a good Daxter.
He'd be a good Daxter. Jack he's a silent protagonist. Who obviously
Well,
have
the
to change
first one
things. It's also kind of a collectathon
The
game.
first one, he's a silent protagonist, but like this Jack 2, Jack
He gets
3,
angry.
He's an angry guy.
He's an angry
So
guy.
who would be good
We need
for?
someone with range. Who do we get? Because he has to be a younger guy. I want the guy who plays. I keep pushing him and stuff. I want the guy who plays the asshole older brother in Stranger Things. I want Billy.
Dacre Montgomery.
Yeah.
He would be a good Jack.
Give
I can
me
see
him.
that. I can see that.
Give me him.
The guy from the Power Rangers
Yeah.
movie.
Give me him.
Give me him. And then
For this movie that'll
Bill
never get made.
Bill
and probably
Hader
would be
as
terrible.
Daxter.
Sadly, they'll do it. They'll give us it'll be like Channing Tatum.
Yeah. Did we get Danny DeVito to be the Green Sage?
oh,
Green
that's too perfect.
I got green eco. It restores your health.
They should just that's what they need to do. Is they just need to start coming out with movies of old video games like that. Like
Yeah,
from our
exactly.
childhood. Like we need Attack in the Power of Juju movie.
They had a TV show.
They did have
With
a
like
TV
3
show.
seasons.
Yeah, but
Why was there 3 seasons of it? Oh my
I don't
god.
know.
Okay, and then
Sean used to
honestly,
play the shit
Gosling
out
could
of
be
game.
Jack because he has like that.
That'd be great.
Gosling's good at being like the silent type, and then when he needs to get angry,
He can get angry.
I feel like he could be Jack.
Alright, so speaking of getting angry on occasion, let's talk about Blade Runner 2049.
Angry on occasion. Blade Runner 2049. Angry on
Um,
occasion.
So this takes place 30 years after the original Blade Runner. And Blade running is still
So
a thing.
Blade Runner takes place in 2019.
Gives in,
this year.
Yep, takes place in 2019.
Very ambitious.
Got to do a lot of picking up to do in this
Yeah.
next.
I don't think we're
300
gonna
and
make
something
it.
There's
days.
some times where I think Ben is a replicant.
It's because of my super strength.
I don't think we're gonna be there at 2049. I don't think we're gonna have
No,
the
but you know what's
technology
funny
that
is
they
for
have.
a long time, like Ben was like, "Have you not seen Blade Runner?" Like I saw Blade Runner maybe like sometime last year, a year
Yeah.
or two ago.
Really?
But
For
it
the
was right
first
before we
time.
started the podcast, I think.
I saw Blade Runner like for the first time last year.
I remember
think,
watching
or
it
the year
with Matt.
before.
Like shout out to Matt. What? Like because he never saw it before and stuff, and just it's one of those movies when you watch it, you're like, how have I slept on this for so long? The amount of work that they put into building like the world and everything
And it
established
raised the
behind
question
it.
of like, how is there not a second Blade
That's
Runner?
what I mean.
And then they made this one.
That's what I mean. It
And then
took
they did.
forever for them to make this, though, and you're just like, how has there not been a series of comics or something?
Sorry, we're not gonna like explain the entire Blade Runner setting here because
You
it's
can't.
like
It's Blade Runner.
It's
it's
so
Blade Runner.
massive.
To be honest, watch Blade Runner, understand the setting, and then come back to this review.
There you go.
Because that way we don't have to like
A lot of
explain each and
precursor
every
knowledge.
And
Yeah.
So this takes place 30 years after the original.
And you know how a lot of movies today, they especially with their movie posters, they use orange and blue.
Yeah.
It's very contrasty.
This is one of the few posters where I think it works really well.
I feel like the first Blade Runner was a very blue colored movie, and this one was a very orange colored movie.
Yeah, because I think it focused more on blue being associated with civilization and modernism,
Yeah,
and things like that when they're in the cities.
And then the orange being like the past.
The past, and it's kind of
The
got this
rundown
like
shit.
this lens of like almost like a sepia filter, kind of to show off.
The movie's
kinda
fucking beautiful.
It really is.
It's beautiful.
yeah.
I mean, I love the guy who directed it. He just makes good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Denis Villeneuve,
Yeah. Is that how you say it?
I think.
Yeah.
It's like his name is. It's like since he's French, it's like Denis Villeneuve.
Is that how it is?
Yeah, it's how I've always called him Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy, you got
Sorry,
a
buddy.
complicated name. This is America. Right? We have names like John,
Yeah. John, Ben, Thomas.
TJ, Thomas.
So yeah, this takes place 30 years after the original, and it follows a young Blade Runner who is a replicant.
Yeah,
and
which
his
is
job
interesting
is
to
to
me.
hunt down
Old
the old
replicant.
model,
The Nexus
and
8s.
retire them
The Nexus
forcibly.
8s, the phones.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny in the IMDb description.
Yeah, I know. The description doesn't match up with what the movie's
Which
about. It's a
it
huge
is,
spoiler.
but you're talking like an hour and a half into the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the IMDb description is
he's
he has to go hunt down Deckard, who was the Blade Runner Harrison Ford.
I mean, to be
Harrison
fair,
Ford's barely in
Deckard's-
this movie.
but Deckard's
he's
in
on
the
cover.
poster.
Deckard's on the poster.
hold
He's
on.
in the trailer.
But Deckard is a big part of the movie.
he is,
Yeah.
but
Like he's barely in it.
No,
that
but
could have been a big reveal.
That could
Yeah.
have been a big reveal, exactly.
that would have been
But they
more
didn't.
better.
They had
And
to.
I kind of
think.
wish.
I think it's a marketing
Yeah, you have
thing.
Harrison Ford in a movie.
Because Harrison Ford did so good in the original Blade Runner. If there's no Harrison Ford tied to it at all, people would be like, "No, I'm not gonna go."
Yeah, and you
see
can't
it."
just spoil it and just be like, he's in it.
Yeah.
So they have to acknowledge
Yeah.
to get people in the seats.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
otherwise you get those diehard fans that'll be like, "I'm not gonna go see it."
Yeah.
True.
Not
Like,
my Blade Runner.
like
Yeah.
definitely not the same level of quality, but the same kind of thing. There's a movie
Deckard
called.
shot first.
Actually, I don't even remember what it's called. The guy from SNL made it. Taron Killam or whatever his name is. It's called. It's about a bunch of hitmen trying to kill like the mega hitman Gunther, and
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger plays the hitman. And apparently, the movie, it's like you don't really see him until like later on. It's like kind of revealed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
But then he's all over the trailers, and he's like, well, you get Arnold Schwarzenegger in
You
a
gotta
low
show
budget
him off.
movie. I kind of have to advertise that he's in it.
I honestly think you shouldn't show trailers for movies.
I think trailers shouldn't be as long
They
as
should
they
be
are
30
now.
seconds.
Trailers are too long.
That's the
They're
problem.
like
no one
5
knows-
minutes long.
Very, very rarely do people know how to cut a trailer anymore without unveiling too much. Like sometimes you're like, "Well, thanks for showing me the whole
There's
fucking
A
movie."
Dog's
minute-
Way Home shows the dog coming home.
Yeah, there's.
Now hold on,
You
I'm
go to the
glad that
movies and
movie
there's
shows
like
me
a-
the whole movie because I don't want to sit through that movie.
That's true. That's true.
If it was my
certain
cut,
movies gonna
for Dog's Way Home, I would cut that trailer and it'd literally just be like, I'm a talking panther. And that'd be it. It'd be like, there's a talking cougar in this movie.
No, what I would do is I would make it look like the panther's about to kill the dog, and then people are like, "Oh shit, that dog's gonna die in the movie."
Yeah, they can show a dog get
The-
worked apart
the-
by a
but then they
mountain lion.
become friends, and it's sweet, and you can take your whole
The
family.
purpose of a trailer is
Also-
to pique a person's interest,
your
in
interest.
going to see your movie.
Give them the basic premise, hook them,
A
get
Dog's
them
Way,
in the seat.
see, A Dog's Way Home, they're like the opposite. They're like, people should not see this movie, so we're gonna show you the ending. It's just in the
Yeah.
5 minutes. You've seen the whole
You
movie.
literally
in
you
5
get the
minutes.
entire thing because the trailers are just so goddamn long. Speaking of so goddamn long, Blade Runner 2049.
It's 2 hours and 44
goddamn
minutes.
long.
It's a very long movie.
Red
It's
Letter
one
Media,
that,
he's
like-
like more like Blade Runner in 2049 minutes running.
Yeah, it's kind of
I started
2
it.
hours 49 minutes.
Ben actually watched this one twice.
I watched
Well,
it
one and a
twice.
half.
1.5.
Because,
I watched it the
wow,
first time, and then I started watching it with TJ. I'm like, I think it's nap time.
It was funny because Ben was like, "Yeah, I'll watch it with you," and we started it not late, but like around 10 or
10-ish.
11.
Started around like 10
And
to
then it's
30.
like 1 in the morning by the
Oh
time it's
my
over.
gosh, I'm surprised
So I
that made
decided
it.
to fall asleep.
But hey, that's how I know it was a damn good movie. It didn't feel like that long when you're watching it. Once you're engulfed in it, like the storytelling and everything, I was into it. I stayed up through the whole thing, and like I didn't like fall asleep.
Honestly,
or anything like
I feel
that.
like
It's a Friday
watching this
night, I always fall asleep.
I feel like watching this a second time would probably be a little hard for me, because it is a
Was
little,
there some things that were?
it's a little slow in certain areas.
Definitely. It's
I watched the
definitely
part that I thought was
yeah.
most interesting was the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched it up until the big twist reveal, I suppose. This is another movie where I feel almost guilty talking about, like, the reveal.
We almost shouldn't.
It did have a good twist.
It was good.
Yeah,
like,
but basically...
It builds up thinking, like... Well, I guess if we're not going to talk about it, I can't.
So this is...
Well, I mean,
so the first Blade Runner...
I mean, this movie is a pretty high profile.
But it's just a matter of...
To build into it. So the first Blade Runner's kind of about Deckard's struggle with whether it is, like, ethical...
To kill the replicant.
To kill a replicant, basically, is what comes in. And it's about replicants being able to present themselves as human.
And replicants also being
able to have free will.
Being able to rebel.
And being able to rebel and all that stuff.
And then...
And this one is about a replicant struggling with his own
humanity.
His own humanity, basically.
Because he's a replicant.
Because he is a replicant.
Which I thought was interesting.
And you also
they made
found
the Blade
out that
Runner a replicant. And I was like, oh, that's like a no-no if you would have said that in the first one.
This is kind of a spoiler too, but also like when you meet Jared Leto's character and everything like that.
Isn't in the movie as much as I thought he was going to be.
No, he's in it pretty briefly.
He's like he's got like 2 scenes.
But like his position of power is important.
His
to the
name
movie.
is
like when
movie.
Like he explains
they're tools.
Yeah.
Creepy
you shouldn't feel bad because they're creations.
But
they're a thing it takes human form, but it's not a human.
The idea that they could
use it.
They can give birth.
Yeah, that's what he's like. I can't make.
Yeah, because that's the big.
That was
driving force behind this movie is
the new
replicants had a baby.
Well, the
find
old
it,
replicant
figure
had a
out
baby,
how.
And then they're trying to replicate that.
Yeah, because they shouldn't be able to.
That was a crazy.
Do they ever explain why she was able to have a baby?
I think it was just a fluke. Just a miracle, basically. She just somehow, maybe her genetic modification was, tampered or
because remember he said they tried to replicate that a bunch of times,
and they weren't able.
Never been able to pull it off.
So it was literally, for all intents and purposes, a miracle.
Yeah,
it's an anomaly,
science miracle.
But the whole purpose of that is like we got to find out how to do that because they want to be able to.
And
take over the humans.
Well, I don't think it was take over the humans. I think it was just have rebellion and be able to fight for their own.
The whole
movie.
Hey, you're gonna want to jump to around like the 53-minute mark unless you want to get like a huge spoiler.
It's like built up like you think Ryan Gosling is like this is the one, which is like honestly a good turn on the head because most movies the main character always is the one, and then in this one he isn't the one.
Yeah, like that's the big twist is that oh shit, you're not the chosen one.
Yeah, and I thought that's kind of refreshing for especially a big blockbuster movie to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does a good way at like keeping you guessing for most of the movie. It's like, well, is he or isn't he, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then, speaking of Jared Leto, his character, the way he's like, he talked, like his voice, his diction, his everything. He sounded like a Steve Jobs type character, and I thought that fit really well.
Yeah, because he's
like the mogul,
new media or not media, but like this, mogul. Yeah,
yeah, and he literally sounded like Steve Jobs, like when he was explaining like certain things.
Yeah, like almost clinical, like it's like a forced geniality.
Yeah,
like it's like he only talks that way because he's trained himself to speak in that way.
Yeah, exactly,
and come across as like clean and smooth and not with like real inflection on his words.
And it is cool that he has like the little cameras that see for him that follow around. I really liked what I like about good sci-fi. It has plausible technology.
That's something that I talked about on the second go around. Is that how Blade Runner, the original, it took like the technology of the modern day for the real world at time, and then escalated it in a way where it's like I can see how that works.
Yeah, he's like,
and it does the same thing here. Like in the 30 years that takes place between 2019 and 2049, they take that technology and then kind of match it with where we've come since that movie's come out. So there's touch screens, and then there's holograms that are basically, for all intents and purposes, real, and are able to integrate themselves fully into the real world. Like that's a really interesting take. I think it plays off something that I think we are desiring now as a modern person.
The set designs and the setting that this movie has is just, and the way that the director did it and everything is so. It it flows so well.
It feels
together.
like a natural extension of the first movie.
Exactly.
There's so many.
Fits.
There's so many beautiful visuals. It's just like eye candy of like you can watch.
But
this
it's still
forever.
different. It doesn't look like the first movie, but it
feels like the same world.
But it feels like it's the same world. It feels like it's the same world 30 years later.
Exactly. It feels like the same
That's
world.
hard to
It's
do.
like watching
that's
a movie
really hard.
from the 80s compared to now. Like it's different.
This is a movie that's really
Speaking of a movie from the 80s.
This is a movie that's so easy for it to fall off into like, you know, like this should have never been gotten made kind of thing, and it doesn't. Never once do you feel that.
Yeah, and it's a great movie.
Honestly,
I don't think there were people really talking about it when it came out. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't
Honestly,
a huge.
This movie shouldn't really be as good as it is because a Blade Runner sequel doesn't sound like the best idea, especially when doing it
late.
30 years later.
Yeah.
And the
It
director
just sounds like a cash grab.
Yeah.
But the way they did it, I felt like it was
It's not a
treated with
cash
a lot
grab
of
in the
respect.
because they
It's a
tried to
good
do
passion,
it several
it's a good
times over the
passion
years.
project.
Yeah,
you know?
and it kept getting shut down. And
Kept being shut down, but this is the one where Harrison Ford saw the script and then they were offering it to the director. And the director was like, I don't know, man. I was hanging on Blade Runner. Like, that could go really bad.
But then
I don't want to
Harrison
do something.
Ford-
And Harrison Ford was like, no. Check the
trust
script
this
out
one.
on this one.
I trust this one.
Yeah, and then it was like, well, fuck. If Harrison Ford wants to do it, then I guess I
And
should
honestly,
probably do it.
if you can get Harrison Ford to want to be a part of something old that he did,
Yeah.
which is really hard if
He
you look at
hates-
Star Wars.
That being said, he's gone back on every single one. He's remade Blade Runner, or he made a sequel to Blade Runner. He made a sequel to Star Wars, and now he's making a sequel to Indiana Jones. He has gone back on everything
But-
he said he would never touch again.
With Star Wars, it felt like he didn't want to be.
They
in
took a dump
Star
truck full of
Wars.
money and then they just put it on. It's like, you can buy some more
He's just
planes.
like,
Hold on,
like,
he said I'll do it, but you gotta kill my character off.
Yeah, he did. He's like, I'll do it, but just kill me so I don't have to be in more of
kill me
these.
off.
I kind of hope that's what they do with Indiana Jones.
That's what they're gonna do with Indiana
Indiana
Jones.
Jones, he dies in the
Is
first
Shia
10 minutes.
LaBeouf gonna be the
Shia
new
LaBeouf
Indiana?
steps up.
Is
They
Shia
bring
LaBeouf
back
gonna even
Short
be
Round.
in it?
Isn't his name Short Round?
Short Round's from Temple of Doom.
Yeah, but they can get Short Round back. What's he up to?
Yeah, this
He's
is
in
actually
Indy.
Shia LaBeouf's new movie. The one about the abusive stepfather, or about the abusive father and everything.
Where
It's
Indiana
actually
Jones is the
Indiana
abusive
Jones.
father.
Yeah, look at him.
Oh, he's perfect age for
He's
it.
the perfect one
He's
for
prime age. He's an
Yeah.
X-Men.
He was in
Miscellaneous crew.
Slaying Screw. What the fuck is he doing?
Oh, I remember him being Data in the
Wait,
Goonies.
look, and then he's also in another movie that says miscellaneous one.
Yeah, the one.
It's so funny. He was
an assistant fight choreographer. Oh, dude's in martial arts.
but it's so funny because he was like part of the '80s. Like, oh, he's adorable and foreign.
Yeah, it was always just like, hey, let's get a small Vietnamese child in our role. It's like, all right, get Jonathan K. Kwan.
What are you doing, Dada?
He's
I
like-
got
and
slick
he's like,
shoes.
Remember the adorable Asian kid from Indiana Jones? Well, look at him with his American buddies doing Goonie stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
That being said, Goonies is fucking great.
love it.
Goonies is so fucking good.
I always only have a 7.8 on Rotten.
And I
or
swear to
on
God, if
IMDb.
they
That's
try to
bullshit.
remake the Goonies,
Don't even jinx it, dude.
I won't finish the sentence then.
We talk about synchronicity stuff and all that. Like, please, for the love of God, if I
Okay,
go home,
Finn Wolfhard.
Just
stop.
get, why is it every single conversation we have about a reboot involving children? It's like, get the Stranger Things.
Stop.
Because
Look.
that's like
Hey,
the best
That's all,
kids.
that's
They're the
all we
best
do.
kids. They're the
It's
best
like,
kids.
you get the kids from
Do-
It, or you get the kids from Stranger Things.
Which
do
are
like,
one and the same.
stop.
It's
Jumble it
Don't
up.
remake the Goonies. Do like they did with Stranger Things. Do things like the Goonies. Don't remake the Goonies.
When's the last childhood adventure movie we had that was good?
Monster Squad.
Yeah. Well, no.
Oh, I thought you meant
Hold
like
on.
that we
The
watched,
most,
sorry.
like you talking about one that was like recently made.
Apparently, the kid who would be king is like that.
Stop.
You keep pushing the kid who would be king to
I'm
us.
just
Not
saying.
happening,
I'm
Pierce.
just saying. It has an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes,
You talking about like a
But
coming of
children
age?
movies always do well on.
but not a movie that looks like that. I thought that was
talking
for
like
sure
coming
gonna
of
get
age
like a
kids adventure
43%.
Yeah, that's what a kid's adventure movie.
Super 8. I liked.
Was that
That's
for
not really
children?
kids though. That's PG-13.
That's for adults that happened to feature children. Goonies was
Yeah.
a movie that's
For
for
children.
all audiences, but mainly it was a movie that's targeted towards
Okay,
children.
but apparently
Super 8, I don't think counts.
the kid who would be king has some really good action where like people's heads get cut off and stuff. I feel like that's very 80s to have intense scenes of action in a kids movie.
Wait, what movie had a kid go off?
In The Kid Who Would Be King,
Well,
there's decapitation
Can
scenes.
I say?
Really?
Yeah.
I know you're trying to have two conversations.
Which is,
at
I
once.
feel like that's something from the 80s, is having intense violence in a kids movie.
Can I just say Stranger Things?
That's also not for kids, though.
Yeah.
It can be.
I feel like it bridges the gap.
I think it's
But
for
it's like
everybody.
rated TVMA.
I think it's for
No,
everybody.
it's-
No, it's not.
Because they say the F word
No.
like a
TV
bunch.
No, but it's also taking the world by
Don't say a
storm.
lot.
I'm
I feel
pretty
like the
sure.
kids
I
say
think
it a
I
lot.
think
Or maybe
Stranger
I'm thinking
Things
of
is
I'm pretty sure
it bridges the gap between children starting to take an interest in adult things. I think
Yes.
it's like perfect for tweens.
Yes, if you're in middle school to high school,
10. I think 10
you would
is
totally
where
be
you can
into
start
it.
appreciating it as its thing.
I could see 12-year-old, 13-year-old me being into Stranger Things.
Yes,
For sure.
100%. That's something Eli Roth talked about actually when he made the House with the Clock in its walls, where he has some actual.
That's pretty good as a
was
kids
really
movie.
good.
That's
Yeah,
I liked
it's
it.
not something
I need
like
to
an
watch
adventure,
it.
but
I enjoyed
it's,
it.
At first I wasn't interested until you guys told me Eli Roth directed it. I was like, interesting.
And he talks about how you made it as basically a way to bridge the gap, where it's like, hey, this can show kids that like horror can be fun.
Exactly.
And kind of like
I feel like
sometimes something scary can make something
it's
better.
I feel
kinda
like
like-
they don't make older kids movies anymore. It's either it's a superhero movie or it's an animated movie that's really.
There's
for...
adult movies and there's kid movies.
What you're talking about, what Eli Roth was talking about, that movie is a perfect example of it. It's a great introduction into horror. Like when I was a kid, I got like into the horror genre really early, but before I started renting like the Nightmare on Elm Streets and all the classic horror stuff that you're supposed to watch, and Goosebumps, man.
Goosebumps was my shit.
And
But
I feel like
think about it. Goosebumps is a perfect example of kids
Ryan
getting
Gosling was in Goosebumps.
yeah, he
Oh,
was in
that's true.
Goosebumps.
Yeah.
He's also
Kids-
in Mickey Mouse Club.
But kids getting into things that are, slightly more scary and like substance based
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, and then
And it shows that horror's fun, like it could be cool. Crazy adventures.
yeah, that
And that's Clock in its Walls does the same vibe.
I
It's a
feel
great
like
bridge the gap kind of movie.
Monster Squad is also like one of those kinds of movies where
Yes,
it's like
for
introducing kids to horror.
For sure.
Because I mean, and also it's another movie where it's like intense violence in a children's movie. They fucking blow up the Wolfman into little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And then he like slowly like,
Reconstitutes himself, yeah.
when it happened, I was like, they kept talking about how you kill the Wolfman. That's how you kill the Wolfman.
They touch on the Holocaust.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Remember we talking about how the guy
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? That was so out of nowhere. And that was it. It's just like, he's like, I guess I am good at knowing monsters. And
Because it's something that took 2 seconds, but also tells you everything you need to know about that character.
Like when you shut the door and you see the numbers on there, you're like, oh shit.
It connects a lot of dots.
Yeah.
And something that's like really quick and easy to do.
Yeah, I guess so.
And
But
it's tastefully done. It's not like he sat down with kids and he's like, well, let me tell you about the concentration camps, kids.
let me
like-
tell you about Hitler's secret monster brigade.
Oh, God. Is that what Overlord's about?
That's what it is. It's about
Kind of.
Hitler's secret zombie brigade.
Yeah.
I want to see that movie.
I want to see it too.
I want to see it.
Went in and out of
I need
theaters
to.
too quick.
I need to wait for a good copy of it
Yeah.
to come. For it to come out on video on demand.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, cool. Yeah, so Ryan Gosling.
Really,
Any other Ryan Gosling movies you guys want to talk
really
about?
appreciate the man.
Oh, yes.
He's come such a long way. Like I said, when he first came out, didn't care much for him, but now we've watched him grow into this actor. He's a selling point for me now. If he's in a
He is a
new
selling
movie
point
or
for
as a
me.
project,
I like him.
I'm interested.
I'll watch him.
100%.
I watch his
Ryan
interviews
Gosling.
and stuff.
Yeah,
I like
that's
him.
what
I think
he's
he's
like
a
cool
He's a
dude.
charming guy.
Yeah. We can talk about The Place Beyond the Pines briefly.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it too much because the podcast's already starting a little long. That movie is very interesting in the sense of about an hour and 10 minutes in, it just pivots and goes a completely different direction.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
In a
I
way
like-
that I did not see
It
I
coming.
love
spans
movies like that.
The time span and everything that happens in this movie, it's literally 2 movies in one.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like 2 movies.
You
in
watch
one.
you watch a whole it almost feels like you're watching like some saga, man. Like it's just
Yeah, because like an hour in,
It's
I'm
an
like,
epic.
I'm like,
Yeah.
where's the movie go from here?
It's an epic.
Yeah,
It
without
really
spoiling it,
is.
I thought I'm like, oh man, Ryan Gosling's like gonna go to jail and the movie's gonna pivot there. Nope.
no.
Honestly, that would be cool though to see his character in jail.
I thought that's
I like jail
where it
movies.
would have gone, but
No,
It's
but
it's such a cool narrative that it tells.
yeah, really interesting movie.
And
Every really strong performances across the board, by the way.
Yeah, highly recommend
have you
that.
seen Nice Guys?
Nice
Nice
Guys?
Guys
Yeah, I
is
love
fantastic.
Yeah, Nice
Love that
Guys.
One of the best comedies in recent years, I would say.
Shane Black.
Agreed.
Shane Black's a good
Him
director.
and-
that's why I was
him
like
and
For the
Russell-
Predators.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's why I was excited about Predator
Yeah,
because he was attached
I
to it.
actually loved the chemistry between Russell Crowe and Gosling in that movie. The way
Worked
they
really well.
they
It did
clicked,
work very
man.
well.
Their humor, the way they delivered
Russell
their
Crowe's
lines.
another person who's surprisingly funny. Like
Yeah.
every once in a while, he sneaks in. And he gets some like good funny,
Shane Black has
chops.
said that he could write the rest of his career could be movies just for those 2 characters because he has so many ideas for them, and he says that he feels
I
like
love
they
it.
can
I
go
wanted
forever.
Nice Guys too.
He said, but then no one saw Nice Guys, so he probably won't be able to do a Nice Guys 2.
I feel like Nice
That's why
Guys
he
just came out in the
uses-
wrong time.
He could just use his Predator money.
Yeah, use your
Predator
Predator
didn't
money.
do very well either.
Oh,
though.
I know that was
Financially
the joke.
didn't do well?
That was the joke.
No.
It did
Oh,
okay.
I thought it did well.
It basically it had a really good like first week with a sharp drop off. Once everyone realized, I'm like, oh, it's trash. Don't waste your time. Because everybody was like, Predator? I like fucking Predator. That's cool as shit.
I like Predator. I still want to see it.
I like
It's still worth
It had a lot of really
watching.
cool posters.
It had a lot of like.
Unfortunately.
Wow, this movie, it had good posters.
Yeah, it's like I would like to get a poster, but I also don't want to have the Predator poster in my house.
The movie made me laugh a lot.
Which it shouldn't. It's Predator.
Even then, a lot of jokes were really funny. Whatever. We're
Yeah.
not talking about the Predator right
I
now.
agree. I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a masterpiece by any means.
Lethal Weapon.
We missed the
That's-
boat for that
Well,
episode.
the
That's
best
Shane
Predator
Black.
is Predator.
Yeah.
The
All right.
first Lethal Weapon is, I think, Shane Black at his best.
Yeah. So, that's it.
That's it. That's
We're not even going to tell you what we're going to do next week. We just shaved like 45 minutes off an episode where we sit down and try to figure out what movies we're going to watch.
That
We're going to do
being-
that off camera.
That's true. Yeah, we'll do it off camera, and then it'll just be a surprise.
That being said, too, feel free to check us out, message
Yeah.
us, let us know what movies you want to hear us talk about. Now that we're only doing one movie, we can do it like almost instantaneously.
It's a lot easier. If you just shoot us a message, it's as easy as just going like, hey, I think you should check out this. And then chances are 2/3 of us will probably agree and check it out.
You know
Yeah,
what? We need to
we
check
can
out. We
do
need
it.
to check out Ginger Snaps because.
You need to check out Ginger
Yeah.
Snaps.
Oh, you guys watched it?
We watched it.
Oh fuck!
I think
I
we
need to
check
watch
out
talked
the
about
sequels.
it, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, I think.
I need to watch it then because I remember someone in the comments suggested.
Imagine,
Ginger
yeah.
Snaps. Yeah.
He said, oh shit, Ginger Snaps. Because he said that in response to us talking about it.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, you can watch it. We'll do a
Yeah,
Ginger
we'll
Snap
do- we
special.
can
We'll
do
watch
a
the
Ginger
trilogy.
Snaps. It's a trilogy. Ooh.
I believe. But yeah, let us know because we're kind of changing the format in a little bit. Where if conflict of schedules end up arising, or if someone just doesn't give a shit about a movie, we can do just two of us on an episode, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna be like they're just sitting there uncomfortably while we talk about something that they haven't
Yeah.
seen.
Or no, it'll be or it'll be like
This is
the
a
one
step.
movie that only one of us wants to watch, and we'll have to do a solo passion project episode on
There
it.
we go.
It's
But
like
you know what?
everyone check out a Serbian film. The other two wouldn't watch it.
But you know what? If you
if you
heart
wanna-
was that
if you're
passionate about
sick,
it, you can do it.
You
by
can
all
come
means.
over anytime if you want to record your Serbian film
I'm
podcast.
not gonna do that.
I almost
I don't
encourage
have
all of
anything
us
to say
down the
that
road at
hasn't
one
been
point.
said.
It would be hilarious if we could all do a solo monologue on a movie we're that passionate
No,
about.
we all do a solo for Serbian film.
No.
Oh my god.
Each person has to give their individual take without feedback.
Without-
No,
without
that's
telling each other.
No, we'll do the thing where we like.
Then
Put it,
I'm gonna be like, man, it's kind of hot. You know, the part where he fucks that baby.
Oh my
And then
God.
you guys are gonna be like, it's so disgusting.
He's like,
But-
it was hot until he beheaded her.
Yeah, there won't be anyone in the room to tell me no. I won't see like
Oh,
the,
Ben
the
Thomas-
desperate look in your
Dude,
eyes.
We'll have Ben Unleashed.
Dude, Ben couldn't go one episode without talking about like some child getting banged.
The
You
orphan
did it
all
with,
over
you did
again.
it with Wreck-It Ralph and Orphan in the one episode, and now this.
I wanted to.
Ben's like, I'll wait till the end.
Oh, I had a movie idea that I wanted to run by you guys.
Yes.
So it would be okay. The opening scene would just be a character. Doesn't even matter. It's like so unremarkable.
Mhm.
Like just a normal person. Could be male, female, any age really.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking more like maybe like teenage age or like someone's kid.
Yeah.
And they're maybe outside of like a gas station, and a car pulls up, and then someone like just puts a bag over their head, pushes them in the car. Car drives off, and then like a car that looks like the same car pulls up, and then that person gets out of that car. It's like a copy of the person, and then
Kind of like almost like they were like replaced.
yeah, like they're replaced,
Mm.
and then it's just a
Almost
movie,
Twilight Zoney.
and then it's just a movie
Or
where
X-Files.
everyone's where the character like you just follow the main person, and everyone starts to notice like that they're kind of off.
Like an invasion of the body snatchers from the perspective of a body snatcher.
Exactly,
Hey.
and it's like everyone's trying to, everyone's like what something's not right, and it's never really explained why that person was replaced. And it's just maybe hinted at that it's like a government thing or whatever, but it really would be more the
No
spectacle of the mystery
That'd
of
be
like
cool.
what of like people figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Ben sends me a message the other day, and it says, "The killer gets away at the end. Credits roll. Everywhere you go or everywhere I go.
Every breath you take plays.
Yeah. Oh, by the I'll
By
be
the-
watching you by Sting. Right?
Yeah.
Every breath.
Because that movie's supposed to be about a stalker, and everybody thought it was like a love song.
And I'm sitting there and I
Yeah.
go, what movie? And Ben goes,
The
That's
one
all
I haven't
got
made
so
yet.
far.
That's what I haven't made.
So I was
All I have is the ending where
the
serial
ending.
killer gets
But
away.
I was like,
the
every
person
like,
knows like they got off, like they were like acquitted
I
or
was
something
like-
at trial.
I was like, this
and
has
then she
gotta
knows
be-
he's still out there.
But I love
But
his
it's every
response
breath
of
you
is like
take.
the one I haven't made yet, and this is as far. I'm like, you started with an end credit sequence, like.
Dude, my phone is just full of notes
No,
for just
but hey,
individual scenes from
same
movies I'll
here.
ever
Exactly.
make.
No, but I just thought about that. I wrote down a thing for a scene, right? Like an idea. And I was thinking what you just did too. What if we just did a movie where we just bounce each other's shit and find a way to make it work into
Just
one
individual
movie?
scenes.
So what you just said, I literally have a scene here that says crazy robbery movie scene, but one of the masked dudes runs back after like having a crazy shootout and asking other dude for a quarter to get something out of a 25-cent machine. So chaos is ensuing in the background and he's trying to get this cheap toy going back to a robbery scene.
He's like broken.
Yeah.
He's like shaking.
I don't know, have some sort of sentimental value
Okay.
to it. Maybe he has to get something for
Tarantino
his
movie.
daughter or something like that, you know, kind of thing. Like,
Tarantino movie. You got some snappy dialogue. You got like two guys who don't really like each other all that much. They're in a shootout. Everybody's reloading. They've got the time. And they're like, I think we're in the clear. Like, the shootout stopped. They think everybody else is dead. And then the guy like leans over and is like, hey man, you got a quarter?
like,
and then you have like that Tarantino
picture-
like dialogue.
yeah.
Like, what the fuck you need a quarter for?
or picture like
I just
a-
want a quarter. What
picture-
you ask a question?
picture like
you
a
don't have
bunch of
quarter.
tw-
Just say no. You don't have a quarter.
And it's so he can like play the crane game.
picture like the 25-cent machines like in front of a gas
Yeah,
station
where
or
he's just
something.
like you gotta like
And all you see is like the front door,
get a
like,
handful of runs
like
or
robbing a
Super
convenience
Bowl.
store or something
Yeah.
like that. Ding ding, everyone's like go run and shoot, and then all of a sudden you just see a guy come back into shot, dodging shit, trying to get it real quick, and then he tries to run off or something like that. It'd be cool. And then that car speeds off, and then your car pulls up, and then the same people get out.
So I remember I was hanging out with these one guys, and we had a really good idea for a horror comedy, and it's a movie where the Grim Reaper isn't just one person. It's I guess you'd have to set up the world where it's like it's I guess hell or the underworld, and there's Grim Reapers, and they get
So it'd be a
assigned
job.
people like a job.
That sounds kind of similar to that one TV show that
Reaper?
kinda. It sounds like that mixed with that show that Bashimi's on now with Daniel Radcliffe,
Oh,
where there's
God.
somebody's personal angel.
Yeah.
But that's your personal Grim Reaper.
Yeah, so it's your personal Grim Reaper, but what it is like there's the one character who's like rookie Grim Reaper, and his older brother is like this hotshot Grim Reaper. He's like responsible for
He's
like
kind of like a bumbling idiot Grim Reaper. Like he keeps
Yeah.
missing with the sight.
yeah. So what it is, he's like responsible for like shit like 9/11 or something.
Oh.
He's like, and everyone's like, yo man, he's
You fucking killed it.
racking him up. He's racking him up. So then he gets assigned his first thing, and the premise of the movie is that he has to make the death look accidental. Because that's what the paper is.
So he's like cutting ropes that have pianos suspended
Yeah,
over
so
people.
the
Like
whole movie is him trying to kill this person, making it look like an accident, but in the process, never actually killing the person and causing a bunch of other people to die that weren't supposed to die.
Yo, what you just described, it just got announced recently that New Line Cinema is talking about, I think like sometime next year, in redoing completely the Final Destination franchise. You need to write them.
But it'd be a goofy movie.
No,
where
that's
the
what I
Grim
mean.
Reaper-
Completely reinvent it and
do you
include
want to
the
have like a
actual
guardian
Reaper.
angel character as well?
Yeah, there could
Like
be
a spy versus spy. Like you keep.
And then so it'd be like I remember one of the ideas we have is like they're at a restaurant and he's like and then he's gonna put something in the food that like makes it like that he's allergic to or something.
But somebody else
But then he
orders
like
like more of the
accidentally
soup.
but then he accidentally like puts an ingredient that causes something to go on fire, and then like the whole kitchen just like bursts into flames and all the cooks die or something.
So he's fine though.
Yeah, so
like there's a
the
grease fire or
tragedy
something.
keeps following like this one guy around, and he's at the gym, and then like
And maybe-
you see like people in the background being like choked by dumbbells. And
Yeah,
stuff.
because the weights
time
are
out.
snapping back.
You can make this a Broken Lizard movie. And it'd be like Super Troopers where the two Reapers like are like, hey, how you want to do this one? kind of thing. And they have like challenge deaths
You have
of
a
like
partner.
bet you yeah,
Honestly,
they're
do you
like
have a
bet you
partner?
can't pull off this accidental looking death. Like
He's like, you have to make him
Yeah.
look like this, and
Yeah.
this.
Like Trevor fell down the stairs, that's rookie shit, man. Now, if you get somebody to get mauled by a bear in their own apartment, now we're talking.
that's what I mean.
Like,
But you
he's
get
like,
the
mauled
cast
by a
of
bear. I can do that. He's like mauled by a bear in his apartment. He's like, all right, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
you
Mauled
get
to
the
death by
cast
a
of
bear.
Super Troopers.
Cub?
And it has to be a bear cub. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay. And then also the bear Runaway Circus.
And then we'll have like
Farva's the Reaper that nobody likes.
There'll be a Hall of Fame. There'll be a Hall of Fame for all the celebrities who
Super
have died
Reapers.
in uncomfortable ways. Like they'll have like Richard Gere. No, who's the one who hung himself while masturbating?
A lot of people. David Carradine.
David Carradine. Like, he'll be on there. It's like, dude, we got him good. We made it look like he was masturbating with a belt around his neck.
The hot shot one will be that. He's like, dude, he's the one that's responsible for them finding
People are
David
still talking
Carradine
about
with
that.
his penis out.
Yeah, like, people are still talking about that.
Yeah. That guy's a legend.
The guy's a legend. Dude,
Yeah.
Elvis would have died somewhere else and not the toilet if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, he made his heart explode while taking shit.
Oh, man. It's way late, but in Blade Runner...
We made Matthew Broderick hit somebody with a car.
No.
It didn't work.
He was supposed to die in that
But in
accident.
Blade Runner, when he sees Harrison Ford, like when they run into each other and, you know, like he's beating the shit out of Ryan Gosling, they're having that shootout. When they end up in that, like, room that's like a mock casino-looking bar kind of thing, and the Elvis, like, holograms playing, that was, like, such a cool thing.
Cool. It
It keeps cutting in and out. It's like, it's like dead. It's like dead silent, and then all of a sudden it'd be like loud as shit. Yeah.
That was a really cool.
Yeah.
I like that scene a lot.
So yeah, this was like, I think it was a pretty decent week.
For sure.
It was.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan Gosling.
We gotta write that Grim Reaper movie.
You do.
We gotta send this to Ryan Gosling's agent.
That's like if we could do a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
That sounds like it's more like small format.
We could do a pilot of it. We'll shoot it.
There we go.
And then
But can we get like shitty like Grim Reaper robes?
There could be like
have one.
There's certain people that are like they're kind of in with the like humans that are in with the Grim Reaper, so they're like really old. We'll have like people like who's like really Clint Eastwood. He's
I was gonna say Betty White.
Clint Eastwood and Betty White. They're in with their personal Grim Reapers, so they're like able to prolong their death.
They're like, I got a Werther's original for you. They're like, sweet dude.
He's like, all right, cool. Got another week.
Yep. Pay your fucking taxes. Gives them like a bag. All right, cool. So thanks for joining us on our latest episode. See you next time when we have something special on its own.
Peace.
Dun, dun.
Right now, this is the part where we decide what we're watching.
I'll be watching you.